What are the different types of penalties that can be drafted in statutes? There are basically three types of penalties that we find. They are civil, administrative, and criminal. In general, a civil penalty is a financial payment that's assessed by a court for violating a statute or a regulation. It's primarily sought to compensate the state for any harm that was done, and any bill including a civil penalty should indicate who is assessing that penalty and where the civil penalty collected will be deposited. There should also be a limit to the amount of the penalty specified in statute. An administrative penalty is generally viewed as an enforcement tool, similar to a civil penalty. So it resembles a fine, and it's usually for violation of certain prohibited conduct. Usually it is proved by a preponderance of the evidence rather than a stricter burden of proof that often applies in a criminal penalty. The major differences between an administrative penalty and a civil penalty is who assesses it and the procedure that's used. A court assesses a civil penalty, while an administrative agency in the executive branch usually assesses an administrative penalty. On the other hand, a criminal penalty is imposed upon a criminal defendant naturally for having committed a specified crime. And these criminal penalties, of course, can take several forms, such as incarceration, probation, restitution, and financial penalties. Now, when providing penalties in statute, the bill drafter needs to specify the amount of the penalty, the reason for the penalty's assessment, the procedures for assessing the penalty, the procedures for any protest or appeal of the penalty, how a record of the hearing is taken, and then how compliance may be enforced.